All right, everybody. Tyrion and I would like to get things started. It's the UPS guy. Oh, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Okay, we're going to get things started. Rob! Yes.
Okay, everyone, please mute yourselves and focus your attention on my screen and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. Our Toastmaster tonight is going to be Ms. Kathleen McNulty. Yes, I'm excited. She's excited. We're all excited. Woo, Kathleen, take it away.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm so honored to be the Toastmaster today. My job will be to introduce people, which I think I can manage, to call for the joke of the day, and we'll be calling on Rob momentarily. To introduce guests and speakers. And I do have one question. I don't know Frank. Shall I introduce Frank, or is Frank known to everyone but me? Rob's going to introduce him.
So Frank is a Rotarian from the Wenatchee Club. He's also a former Toastmaster, and Frank and I were talking about various things, and I invited him as a guest. So please welcome back Frank Clifton. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
Welcome, Frank. I would like to call for the joke of the day. Rob, would you care to do that for us?
I happen to have one. A mafia boss finds out that his bookkeeper, Marco, has cheated him out of $10 million. His bookkeeper is deaf. That was the reason that Marco got the job in the first place. It was assumed that Marco would hear nothing, so he would have nothing to testify in court. When the boss goes to confront Marco about his missing $10 million, he takes his lawyer, who knows sign language. The boss tells the lawyer, ask him where the money is. The lawyer, using sign language, asks Marco, where's the money? Marco signs back, I don't know what you are talking about. The lawyer tells the boss, he says he doesn't know what you're talking about. The boss pulls out a pistol, puts it to Marco's head, and says, ask him again, or I'll kill him. The lawyer signs to Marco, he'll kill you if you don't tell him. Marco trembles and signs, okay, you win. The money is in a brown briefcase in the shed behind my house. The boss asks, what did he say? Boss, he says you're not man enough to pull the trigger.
Thank you, Rob. We don't have any program changes today. Everybody arrived who was
Well,
scheduled.
except for Lloyd. Thank
you. Yes, I couldn't make it. He's in Yakima. I see, because I didn't read this till we started, that I am to make opening remarks. I have a brief opening statement about moderation and excess, reflecting on my last week in Orcas Island, where there was fun in excess with lots of kayaking and hiking and watching sunsets, drinking wine, and lots of other fun things, and a very, very moderate amount of work. I think it was a very nice, even balance for a vacation. Sorry to miss last week, but I'm happy to be here this week as your Toastmaster. Now I am going to introduce our general evaluator, who's going to introduce his team and explain their roles and duties. Eric Stepper.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I will be evaluating the meeting from stem to stern, but in true Toastmaster fashion, we have a team that gets this job done. And my team tonight, we will have one speech. Each evaluator will be Christina. Christina, what is your objectives for tonight?
Thank you. Tonight I will be evaluating Jackie's speech. She is working on Know Your Sense of Humor tonight. The purpose of her project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. Jackie asked that we look for things that we find funny in her speech and tell her how she could then tweak those elements to maximize her sense of humor in the future. That's the feedback she's looking for from our comments and evaluations. I will share my personal impressions of her speech when called upon to do so. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Next up is our timer, Steve Schwinn. What does that entail, Steve?
Hi there, thank you so much. We like to be punctual and concise in our speaking skills, and that involves timing that controls the delivery of our message without leaving our audience wanting for an end to come. They know what's expected, and we know what's expected, and that helps us to hone our speaking skills to be effective at delivering our message concisely in a compact time frame. Tonight's speech will be 5 to 7 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. At 5 minutes, we will see a green piece of paper. At 6 minutes, yellow. At 7 will be the red paper indicating it's time to wrap that speech up, leaving an additional 30 seconds in which to complete the talk to stay within a concise time frame. We'll have table topics later in the meeting, which are 1 to 2 minutes. We'll see the colored paper at the appropriate times at 1 minute, 1:30, and then again at 2 minutes, indicating time to wrap up. And finally, our person named Christina, what do you do? Evaluator. Good heavens. Will have 2 to 3 minutes. She will provide, or she will see the green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2:30, and red at 3. I'll keep track of this throughout the meeting and report on everyone's timing at the wrap up. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Next up is our grammarian, Joyce. Joyce, what is the grammarian's role tonight?
My role is to give you a word to chew on and put into your speeches. I love the way that Rob is making with his face, but I digress. And also, along with the word of the day, I am also looking forward to anything that pops out speech-wise that really calls to me. I'll let you know what I think. I always do. Thank you. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. I got so ahead of myself. Equanimity. That is the word of the day. I may have a very weird sense of humor, but I can show equanimity in the mental or emotional stability or composure, especially under tension and strain, also known as calmness. When I dumped the water on my lap before the meeting, I had to show equanimity because Victoria was on the line with me. And I did not want to act the fool. I'll wait till later. Thank you now.
Thank you, Joyce. Next up is our eye counter, Mary.
Yeah, I'm the all counter tonight. I will be listening for filler words that people use, such as like and you know, and filler noises that people emit, like ah. I will be counting them and I'll report back at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Joyce, for putting the word of the day up in your square. Everybody, please try and use that tonight. That is my team. I'm excited. And I will now hand the meeting back over to our Toastmaster, Kathleen.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Steve Schwind, I wanted to make note of the fact that for the first time I saw you almost speechless in trying to grasp and remember Christina's role, which I can relate to in many ways.
Thank you for taking note.
My job and my pleasure to introduce Jackie. And before I introduce her, first of all, I would congratulate her on her courage. I think doing a humorous speech is the hardest thing to do. No pressure.
You think it's funny.
I applaud you for being willing to put yourself out there. It's a good role model for the rest of us. In fact, I'll volunteer for the joke of the day next time. Just
Well,
in
I'm
your
not really
honor.
putting myself out there. I'm putting Tyrion out there.
Okay.
Easy to throw him under the bus if it doesn't work.
Okay. Tonight, we'll all have the distinct pleasure of listening in on Tyrion's interview. He has been preparing and can't wait to get the job of being a puppy companion for the family he's interviewing with. Jackie's speech title is Tyrion's Interview. Take it away, Jackie.
Thank you. Hello. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Tyrion, of course, as you know. And why do I want this job? You want me to tell you a little bit about me first? Okay. So, as you can tell, I have a British accent. And I bet you're wondering where that came from because I've never been to England. I am 16 months old and I've only ever lived in the United States. And I put it down to mummy watching lots and lots of British movies and TV shows. That's why I have a British accent. But you want to know a little bit about me, right? Okay, obviously I'm cute and I'm humble too. I am a mini golden doodle and I love my mummy. If you're going to talk about what my strengths are, as you can tell, I have much equanimity. I love to cuddle, and just like I'm cuddling on mummy's shoulder right now. You know, my favorite time of the day is at night between 8 and 9 o'clock. And I wait for mummy to say, Tyrion, let's go cuddle. And I run and I jump on her bed and I cuddle with her. That's what she says. I don't know why she says cuddle instead of cuddle. I don't know why she said, I love you, Tyrion. It's slightly embarrassing, but you know what? I love mommy anyways. I love everyone. In fact, that's one of my great strengths. I don't care whether you are an adult, whether you're a kid, whether you're another dog. I love everyone. In fact, one of my signature moves is to give everyone kisses just like this, but also I stand up on my hind legs because I'm very strong and I wrap my legs around them and I give them a hug. Now I know you might be thinking, it's not that, I'm not, I lost my manhood last year, so it's not humping, it's a hug. Get your mind out of the gutter. Okay, as I've said, people love me and I love them. Did you know, last week, my cousins came down from Alaska and my other cousins came over from Seattle, and I gave them kisses just like this, but also they were running around and getting me, in a kissy. But you know what I did? Even when they were pulling on me, squatting on me, and everything, I did not blink an eye. What I did was like I'm going to do right now. I'm going to run away and let Mommy channel the rest of my interview. I just run away, and I have never growled or never been angry at a soul in my life. And I think that is definitely a strength. What's that? Oh, weaknesses, yes. Well, it depends on how you look at it. I do bark sometimes, but the reason that I bark is to let Mommy know when there's somebody there, or to protect her. If I hear somebody out that door, I'm going to make sure that Mommy is safe. And I love my grandma and grandpa. So these are a couple of reasons I am going to make an excellent, excellent dog companion for your family. What would I do to make the world a better place? Oh, that's quite a good question. Well, first, I think everyone needs to have a little puppy of their own and spend as much time as they can with the puppy. Second, there is something I absolutely love. Oh, I love it. I can't get enough. There are things that I like watermelon. I like hot dogs, of course. I even like carrots. But my favorite, in fact, I'm trying to see right now if I can get out the door to get them. When I was young, I'm still kind of young, but when I was young last year, I was so sneaky. I was in Mom's bed and she has earplugs. And what she would do is she would leave her earplugs underneath the pillow. And when I found out about those earplugs, oh my goodness, I ate them. And she didn't put the rest of her earplugs up after that. And there was one time she left them sitting by the side, and she went to go to the bathroom. I think she was tired, and I took advantage of that. And I ate some more. I have eaten 4 pairs of earplugs. So this is why I believe that the world would be a better place if everyone had access to earwax flavored jelly beans. Thank you so much for your interview and for taking the time. I love you. I really do. I really, really love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie and Tyrion. A charming performance. Can we get 1 minute on the clock from the timer so we can all write Jackie our comments? And you can do that in the chat box, and make sure you select the drop down with, let's see, Jackie Graybill's name on it. It looks like our time is up. Thank you, Mr. Timer. We get now to move on to everyone's favorite part of the evening, table topics. Today, Dean Karath is our table topics master. Welcome, Dean.
Thank you. The purpose of table topics is to give us a chance to practice our impromptu speaking. Whether you realize it or not, you use this skill multiple times a day, whether it be answering questions, telling a story to your friends at lunch or dinner, or just simply leaving a voicemail for somebody. The questions tonight, or the topics, will deal with the theme, moderation and excess. Excess has a lot of connotations. Typically, it's viewed as negative, but it doesn't have to be. For example, none of you, I suspect, will complain if you have excess funds in your bank account. So keep that in mind. First question is, tell us something you do to excess, and what is the impact on you and others around you? Ian, could you tackle that one?
I don't think Ian's here, Dean.
Yeah, Ian had
Oh,
to,
Ian bailed.
sorry, I tried to. All right, how about Pat?
Since the COVID-19, one thing I have done to excess virtually every day is eat a lot of candy. I have a candy dish on my coffee table, and I can empty it in one evening of television viewing. For some reason, it hasn't resulted in excess weight, but I have such guilt when I see that full jar when I sit down and that empty jar when I leave, but I can't seem to stop myself. For a long time, it was peppermints, these wonderful mints that you can buy in a tub at Big Lots, and they just dissolve in your mouth. Occasionally, I go to Marshall's because they have a lot of gourmet foods, and I've just discovered chocolate flavored taffy. I have gone through half of the first bag since yesterday. I obviously have no willpower, no self-restraint, and I wish I could feel sorry, but it's so yummy, it's so sinful, I love it. Amen.
Thank you, Pat. That sounds like me and ice cream. A spoonful's too much and a quart isn't enough. Next topic is discuss something you think our country is doing to excess. Ron, can you address that one?
I would prefer not to. Does anybody else want this one? What are we doing to excess? I suppose the one thing that certainly comes to mind, that perhaps comes to everybody's mind, is the polarization. Of course, just folks don't seem to have any tolerance for one another anymore. And there's been some of that that's gone on to a degree over history, but in the time that I've been alive, and perhaps it's because I've paid more attention over the last couple of years, it sure seems an awful lot worse. My wife was getting some propane in the RV here about a month or so ago. She was going on a trip, and she pulled up to the aisle over in one of the gas stations where they actually have the propane. And the clerk was there, and there was another gentleman there that was getting his propane tanks filled, and she went to back in, and he made it a point of positioning himself in her way and smacking the side of the RV that she went as she went by, and then going up and making a big production out of it and telling her what a terrible person she was for trying to run over him. And she really wasn't. He was in an area where he could have just very easily, and he was initially off to the side, and he created this drama. And I've just seen more episodes of that recently, as people seem to be not starting off with a good demeanor and perhaps having an external stimuli that causes them to feel upset or angered or take your pick. I think they're already upset or angered, and they're looking for a reason to feed into that. So I suppose I've seen that in excess also. I don't like it. I wish there was something else in excess, such as money. I think y'all mentioned that earlier, or maybe some kindness. Maybe once we get past 2020, the year that, what was Lloyd's shirt read here a couple of meetings ago, canceled. Maybe once we get past the year 2020, we could move on to something where we have better excess in kindness. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, or Table Topics Master.
Thank you. That's the topic I probably would have harped on too. Tell us about something you would like to do or have in excess, but don't do or have in excess. Mary, would you like to take that one on?
Would you mind repeating that, Dean?
Sure. Tell us about something you would like to do or have in excess, but don't do or have at this point.
I think of things like money, but really I have enough money. I think about time. Well, I'm retired. I certainly have enough time. I gave a speech a year or two ago about my stuff. I have a lot of stuff, and it's been my New Year's resolution for 2 years to use what I have. By the way, I'm doing a good job at that. I had 5 pounds of powdered sugar when I started all this, and now I'm down to 3. I've discovered some recipes that call for powdered sugar. What do I have? What do I not have in excess? I'm looking next to me here, and what you can't see on my couch are piles of pictures. I have old family slides. I have old family photographs, negatives. I have those in excess, but what I don't have is the interest, capacity to scan them, get them on electronic media, and get them posted on a website. I've already done probably 300 photos, and I got these from my sister, just mountains of them. They're fun to look at, but I guess if I could have excess, if anything, it would be excess technology that would make that really fast to get those pictures all scanned, posted, and then my family could enjoy all of them. My excess, there you go.
Thank you, Mary. That was admittedly a hard one, I thought. You did well. Frank, would you like to give one a try? You don't have to, you're a guest. Yes or no?
I'll pass. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Steve, I know you're the timer. Would you like one? I'm kind of running out of folks that haven't already had roles.
I can do 2 things at once.
Oh, well, wait a minute. There's some others I missed that. Joyce, I have a quote here. Tell us what your thoughts are on it. It's by Marty Rubin. Moderation is healthier, but excess is more fun.
That is so true. I love that quote. One of my favorite other quotes has to be of this evening is everything in moderation, including moderation. As for the quote that you just said, I believe that excess can be fun. It can be more punishing at the end, hangovers, court fees, what have you. Moderation, it has its pros and cons, cons being boring. As for excess, usually that involves all of the fun things that I would like to do that might result in weight gain, pregnancy, and jail time. It really depends on which state you're in. As for excess being one of the many things that we hear more stories about, no good story starts with this one time I ate this really good healthy salad. It's more of the point of we walked into a bar and 2 hours later we had on football helmets and took a carpet and went down 2 sets of stairs and found ourselves surrounded by the cops again. Those are usually college stories, good times. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'll just end it right here. And I've never done the thing with the slide.
Okay, thank you. Every side attacks you when you don't take sides. That's another Marty Rubin quote. Vicki, could you expound upon that one?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I believe that people want to have you on their side and know where you stand. And so when they tell you something, they want to know that you're with them. And if you're not with them, then they want to give you reasons why you should be with them. And as Ron was saying, it's so polarized now that it seems that everybody wants to know, are you with me or against me? Whereas let's just not know and be curious and find out and respect what other people are thinking. You know, I don't agree with a lot of my family members, but I still respect them and understand where they're coming from. And I don't think that I need to have them on my side or with me. I still respect them. But if I see that they want me to be with them and I can't be. And so that's where the tension is. But hey, I just know that at some point, 2021 will be here. We're going to just have a wonderful time. We're going to get through this and I'm ready to party. So, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Vicki. If you were forced to, this one's sort of related to excess. If you were forced to eliminate every physical possession from your life with the exception of what would fit in a backpack, what would you put in it? Kathleen, would you like to tackle that one?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, I think. As you were asking the question, I wondered if it could be a person, if that counted. However, I don't have any people I could fit in a backpack. I'm going to assume people are excluded. The possession that I have that would fit in a backpack, and it would be the absolute last thing that I would want to take with me. The first thing that comes to my mind, and I really don't even know why, is my wedding ring. Kind of silly because I'd be wearing it on my finger. Be kind of a waste to put it in the bag. Let's assume that one is already on the trip. After that, probably I would take a pet My dog, Sam, much bigger than Tyrion, and not nearly as well behaved. I would be happy to stuff him into a backpack and take him along with me if he would count as an object. He would be a lovely companion, probably slobbering all over me in the backpack. I can just imagine the walk down to the end of the street, barking and trying to get out to chase after all the other dogs that are running by. It would be a magnificent companion to have with me if that was all I could take. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, my answer would have been that I would have wanted to put the things I love in, but assuming I didn't need to put them in a bag, I would have grabbed my bug out bag, which we all have up here in wildfire country.
What is that, Dean? I don't know what it is.
It's a bag where you put all the things that you're going to need if you need to evacuate within 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Oh, your emergency bag. Okay.
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Okay.
I didn't know it had a proper name.
That has various names. Bug out bag is what I go by. How much time do we have left? We got time for a couple more? Okay. From Marjorie Pay Hinckley, Small and Simple Things. Complete abstention may be much easier than moderation. Do we have a volunteer for that? Steve.
I don't know why exactly, but I'll take it on. Abstention as opposed to moderation being preferable, is that what you said?
Complete abstention may be much easier than moderation.
I would beg to disagree. I think moderation is something that gives you the opportunity to experience and satisfy, whereas complete abstinence builds in one like a balloon filling with air, an excess want or desire that ultimately causes it to burst, and the next thing you know, you got blood and guts all over the wall. You're there, I'm doing my timing thing. In both cases, I think it's playing with fire, if you will, if we're talking about things that are taboo, because they both will lead to an ultimate bad outcome. But if we're talking about just maintaining some semblance of control or navigation of one's, I hate to use the word, but morality or actions, a little taste is always better than absolutely nothing, because nothing manifests in your mind larger than the thought of something dangling just out there that you keep distanced from yourself. That's my thought.
Thank you. I have one last quote. Rob, you didn't do one yet, did you?
I have not.
Okay. This is related to another one that we've already had. Everything is good in moderation, even moderation. What do you think of that one?
Well, thank you for that topic, Mr. Table Topics Master. I've never been a person that has done much in moderation. I think my excesses reflect my lack of equanimity, which I will share with you now. When I was a young man, I could go through a bag of chips or a box of crackers and not think twice about it. And as I got a little bit older, I loved to drink dark beer, never in moderation, always in excess, often whenever possible. The problem is that my moderate lifestyle now causes me to no longer stand taller in the saddle. Rather, I look like Jabba the Hutt because I am getting bigger from side to side. So moderation is something that I need to be a little more aware of. But at this point, I love my excesses and I'm going to keep doing them. And that's my position, Mr. Table Topics Master. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. That's something I can certainly relate to, having had a whole lifetime of excess and suffered the consequences in various areas. And I have very much moderated most of that, even if it means banning the ice cream from the refrigerator, or the freezer rather, for all time. That concludes the table topics session.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Very good questions, Dean. Very interesting responses. As people were answering, I was planning my post-COVID visitations. First to Pat's house to finish off the candy jar. Then over to Mary's house for some baked goods made with confectioner's sugar. Would not miss Rob's house for the dark beer. Vicky is looking for a party. I would definitely hit Vicky's house. Unfortunately, Dean, you've eliminated the ice cream and I'm going to skip your house for that. Very good job, Dean. Thank you. It is time, I believe, to hear from our evaluator, Eric Stepper.
Thank you, Ms. Toastmaster. It's now time to evaluate the meeting. I'm going to call on my team. And first of all, with Jackie's speech, we have evaluator Christina Stepper. Christina.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Jackie, your speech was very enjoyable, as usual. You asked that I look for the things I found funny. The first out of the gate was Tyrion's body language. His absolute representation of equanimity, with the floppy paws and the head on your shoulder and looking into the camera at appropriate times. Perfect. It was perfect. By contrast, your vocal representation of his thoughts showed a complete lack of equanimity. We have what the dog appears on the outside and what's probably going on in that little head of his in sharp contrast. Clarifying his puppy hugs, that was a good one. Your use of accent, facial expressions, leaning into this screen, him jumping up to the doorknob in the background. That was great. This use of story with the story of the earplugs, a variety of earplugs with the twist at the end of that, earwax flavored jelly beans. We were not expecting that. Great line. A couple suggestions. I wasn't clear what position he was applying for out of the gate. That would have been helpful to me because I kept trying to figure that out. Think about maybe having him ask you to tell the funniest story you know about him, so that there's a change in the voice a little bit, we hear from you about him, then he could comment back about that incident, perhaps. That would add a little something to it. Your flow and organization were great, incorporating the word of the day seamlessly. Your enthusiasm and a refreshingly fun presentation style. All in all, great speech. Thank you. Very enjoyable.
Thank you, Christina. How about timing? Steve, how do we do on our timing tonight?
Everybody did pretty well on their timing. The pressure of the clock certainly did not expose equanimity in anyone. They all did well in maintaining composure, even me who went over. Jackie, you were 516 in your speech. Pat, 129. Ron, 204 for a topic that you wanted nothing to do with. Mary, 146. Joyce, 131. Vicky, 128. Unusually concise in your table topics opportunity, as you typically tend to share right up to the line. Kathleen, 134. I was 202. Rob, you were 123. And Christina, in your ever polished and professional style with no equanimity in the pressure of your timing constraints, 252. That's it for my report. Well done.
Thank you, Steve. And Joyce, how about grammarian?
I was getting worried. Before I knew it, everyone chipped in and said the word of the day. Jackie was the first to say the word of the day. Rob followed. Christina said it twice, and Steve said it twice. One saying that is near and dear to my heart and gut now. Dean, a spoonful of ice cream is too much and a quart is not enough. Yes, I feel these words every time I go to the grocery store and there's the row of sinful frozen goods I shall not want. Thank you.
This group seems to be having some COVID issues. Mary, how we do on accounting?
Really well. I think we're just a bunch of smarty pants Toastmasters because there were hardly any filler words, just a few, but here are the people with the perfect score, which is 0. 0 is a good score here. Jackie with a whole speech. Eric, Christina, Steve. Pat had just one extra and. Vicky had 3 ands. Dean, you did so well, but you had a couple of restarts with sentences. Joyce, oh, so close. And all I found or heard from you was when you said, ah, and you carried on. But actually, I think that was an okay ah, like, ah, what a lovely day. Kathleen had kind of twice. Rob, you had a so, a you know, and a couple ands. Ron, you like the word 3 of those, 5 extra ands. But then you weren't really into this question. So that was a tough one. And an extra so. I think that's everyone. Rob, yes, that's everyone. Good job.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, great job. Meeting as a whole was a very enjoyable meeting. We started on time. We had a full complement of evaluators of all kinds. We are going to end on time. I love my team, and I wanted to invite all of us over to Rob's house for dark beer. I will turn the meeting back over to El Presidente.
Can it be to an excess?
Fabulous. This has been a very, very fun meeting. Why don't we send Speaker of the Week to Rob so he can count those? And I think y'all were funnier than my speech. We've just been laughing the whole night. I love this. First I want to mention, now I get my filler words in after Mary's counting. Lloyd wanted us to chat about Labor Day weekend being next week. We historically haven't had a meeting on Labor Day, and he wanted to get a feel from everyone on what your thoughts are. Yes, no, no. Okay, that would be a no. Okay, so.
Excuse me. I would like to know about Ron's companion. He did not introduce that lovely creature to us.
Yes.
Well, that's Little Zin, and normally we have quite a few of these Vizslas, but my wife went to the national show and took all of them, so she's by herself for 9 days now. She's really needy right now.
Aww.
She's demanding a lot of attention from her daddy.
Oh, so sweet. Before Rob gives us the answer of Speaker of the night, actually, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I have a confession to make. So this is going to be my last week in this room on our calls because, drum roll, as of next Monday, I am going to be in England. I got into grad school in Worcester, England.
Wow.
So I will still be president. We're meeting on Zoom, and hopefully that'll be able to carry out over the year. And I haven't told anybody in Toastmasters this, so maybe I should have mentioned it to somebody before this. But anyways, my flight is supposed to be on Saturday, and there's still a couple little things to get done. But I'm getting a master's degree in understanding domestic and sexual violence, so I can further that to help women get out of abusive relationships, which is what I see my speaking as a continual vehicle for that. So I just wanted to let you all know.
Congratulations!
I'll be here.
Bravo.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Why Worcester, England? Why did
you say that one more time?
Why did you choose that school?
Well, at first I wanted to study in London because I went to visit a friend in London last fall, and I just fell in love with it, just everything about it. And when I was traveling back on the plane, I was tearing up, and I realized that instead of feeling like I was going home, it felt like I was leaving home. So there's just something about England that just feels so connected for me. It feels like
you got the accent, huh?
I know, right? I figured it to be appropriate. Oh. So I won't see you guys in person unless I come back to visit. But, when this COVID stuff is all over, come and visit me in England.
Can you take your puppy? Can you take your dog?
I'm not going to take him this first year because I am going to be on campus with the house with other postgrads. I have my own room, my own bathroom, but I'm going to come back and get him after the year. I don't want to think about it.
Is that why he's interviewing for another family? Because I'll take him.
Oh. Anyways, I know that comes out of left field probably, but I didn't want to mention it until things were pretty certain. So I was thinking about your question that you got, Kathleen, because I am simplifying and purging and digitizing everything to get it into 2 bags and a carry-on. It's a lot to whittle your life down to that. But didn't mean to be talking so much at the end, but Rob, would you like to take over?
I would, Madam President, and I just want to say you are going to have so much fun. I know you will.
Thank
And
you.
I'm envious. I know that my wife and I have traveled to Europe, and we had so much fun the 3 weeks that we were in England, Scotland, and Ireland. And I know you're going to be doing a lot of things other than just studying, I hope.
Yes, much travel, much.
Probably some dark beer too.
Oh.
But when I studied in Italy, I wasn't drinking wine yet. So eventually, after they start letting Americans back into Europe, but I can go all over the UK. So that's good. Yes. Come visit, Rob. Bring your wife.
I will. The vote is in.
Okay.
It was nearly a clean sweep. Nearly. The winner, expat, Jackie Graybill.
Yes, that's a new title. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Has anybody tuned into the Toastmasters festivities? I know we're a little early today, so we got 4 minutes left. Curious if anybody has and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I watched some of the speeches, not as many as I wanted to. Are they still available?
I believe that they are still available. I'm not sure how long. The speeches will be for a while longer. I don't know about education system.
Yeah, okay.
Things. And then we had our Region 1 celebration last night, which is our area. Our district director gave a great presentation. It was really fun to watch. We're looking forward to the upcoming year. We did the elections and those turned out quite well. The proposal that everybody was questioning about as far as condensing the regions back to 7 instead of 14 did not pass. So we still have the 14 regions, which is good. And it's just going to be an exciting year coming up. We will not be doing Paris though, because they won't let us in. But I'll come to England and see you. But I believe the next one is in Nashville. So maybe you'll fly back and
visit friends, see my sister, the sister in Nashville still. Yeah, do some recording.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great thing. I'm not going to do any spoilers about who won contest because I know that some people are still in the midst of watching. So, but they were great speeches and I like to rewatch them just to see how people present speeches in different ways. And there's so much to learn. And I had the honor of being a judge in one of the semifinals. And it was, it's just such a learning experience to be a judge or an evaluator. So watch them, get some ideas.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Vicki. Well, does anybody else have anything to bring up? We're pretty close to time. Okay.
Safe travel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll miss you, Jackie.
I'll miss you too, but I will be there on Monday. It's like 8 hours ahead, so 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning, but I'm just going to brace my inner night owl and it's going to be fantastic.
You are going to be dedicated if you're waking up at 1:30 in the morning.
I'm not waking up, girl. No, I'm staying up.
That's one of the side effects of
2 weeks.
Say that one more time.
2 weeks from now.
Yes, everybody. Oh, yeah. It won't be next week. That'll be perfect. I'll be rested up from my quarantine. Yay. Yes. I'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.